humidity the hot elsewhere in the country. Record-breaking temperatures on Friday gripped cities from Philly to Louisville. In New York, the heat disrupted train travel at Penn Station. Unprecedented temperatures in Maine caused ER visits to surge, with nearly 80 heat-related illnesses reported.
There's a different weather issue in Iowa, where Governor Kim Reynolds has ordered a disaster proclamation over severe storms and flooding yesterday. Helicopters are rescuing people from flooded homes in the small town of Rock Valley. In New Mexico, wildfires forced evacuations from a mountain town. Fire official Mike McMillan says they can return soon, but will need water.
The South Fork fire is the one that has most heavily impacted the village of Ruidoso, a population of about 8,000 people, currently under a mandatory evacuation notice, which is set to be lifted Monday for residents only.
Now to Ukraine, where Russia has been bombarding energy facilities in the south and west. The BBC's Gordon Carrera.
There is a clear strategy to try and degrade that infrastructure, effectively to reduce Ukraine's will to keep going with the fight. I think a lot of the worries will be about the winter, when it obviously gets very cold here, and the concern that if the power infrastructure isn't rebuilt and isn't able to be protected by that stage, that could be very serious. But in Kiev here and across the country, there remains that determination to resist Russia.
For the first time, the FDA is allowing a vaping company to sell menthol-flavored e-cigarettes. CBS's Jeff Glore.
The move clears the way for Enjoy, which was acquired by tobacco giant Altria last year to add 4 menthol products. Anti-smoking groups slammed the move and argued menthol flavors are more popular with teens. But a top science official with the FDA Center for Tobacco Products said the strength of evidence of benefits to adult smokers outweighs the risks to youth.
Some Justin Timberlake fans aren't angry over his drunk driving charges this week and went to his Chicago concert last night to support him.
People make mistakes, and no one's condoning the alleged drinking and driving, of course.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul is helping parents to protect their children from social media posts amid worries about addiction and mental health issues. She signed a bill that would let parents block kids from getting posts suggested by popular platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way, for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
There are some ways to keep cool.
Closing blinds and curtains during the day. Turn off non-essential electronics and move to lower levels. Ways to stay cool as triple digits make some parts of the country.
If you're going to do outdoor activities, do them in the early morning or late in the evening. Remember to stay hydrated. Light clothing, loose-fitting clothing.
Senior Manager for Service Master Restore, Dan Messenberg, says with or without air conditioning, this helps.
Having a fan circulating air, make it appear to be a little bit cooler. It's also going to help with evaporation from your body.
And keep your kitchen as cool as possible.
The barbecue grill is a great idea. The microwave is going to still generate some heat, but not as much as running your oven.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
NASA has pushed back the return of the Boeing Starliner to Earth just to make sure any technical issues have been solved. The return of the 2 astronauts had been set for June 14th. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Broadcasting live From the palatial studios of KOKC in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Talks Insurance. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. Restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum is here with me live in studio.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rick.
The next generation of McRoof, HAAG-certified roof inspector Scotty McCollum has the day off. And running man Eric Yandel is the wizard on the other side of the glass.
Well, howdy there.
Hey, Eric. He will answer your calls to 405-478-1520.
Maybe. Hey, wait a minute.
We're live streaming the show on the McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel, and we're waving to you right now. You can also hear us anywhere in the U.S. of A. on iHeartRadio. Just search for KOKC. Act 1 of the show will start as usual with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. That number again to guess the trivia question or to just ask a question is 405-478-1520. Scotty's View from the Rooftop will return next week, so Act 2 will continue with more of your calls and the story of some wild advice an adjuster gave a homeowner. I can't believe this. Coming back from breaks, we'll have some really obscure historical trivia. Then in Act 3, we'll have our After the Storm tip brought to you by RoofRx, and we'll wrap up with Dad's Wisdom, brought to you by Energy Q. Now, the lawyer texted me just a moment ago to remind me that I have to tell you that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing.
There you have it.
Good afternoon, Mr. McCollum.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rick. Hey, I couldn't help but notice your sweatshirt or your
my shirt, my jersey, my Energy Football Club jersey.
So tell me the story. What's going on now with the Energy?
Well, they're still on hiatus because they don't have a place to play.
Right. Didn't meet league requirements or something like that.
Right. The USL wouldn't grant them the permission to play any longer on a non-standard field.
Gotcha.
Which is what they've been playing on since they started.
Right.
The multi-purpose stadium that we voted for and maps for is the plans are still being drawn for that.
Okay.
They finally settled on the location of the old Producers Co-op, other side of the tracks from the Paycom Center and the Convention Center. And so that should start being built maybe by the end of this year.
Next year.
I'm not seeing the team take the field again until 27.
Okay. All right.
Now that's maybe 26, but that would be pushing it.
Loyal fan, still wearing
I am
colors.
a loyal fan, and I will be a season ticket holder whenever they return.
I know you will.
Okay, let's get going with our trivia question before we get to the word of the week.
Okay, let's do it. So what is the measure, and I am actually asking for a measurement, what is the measure of a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle? Not a Class 4. I'm asking you for the measure of a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle, and this is using the steel ball test. Okay.
Now I know you've told us many times what the
Class 4.
What the Class 4 steel ball size is, but now you're looking for the size of the Class 3.
I am, and I'm not even going to remind people what the Class 4 size is because I don't want to get them too close to the right answer for Class 3.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
They'll have to figure it out on their own.
Okay, so if you think you know what size steel ball that the experts use to test a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle, give us a call at 405-478-1520. And not only will you be the honored winner of the trivia question, we'll also get 2 free tickets to the last production of Carpenter Square Theater's next show that opens Friday night.
That's the end of this season.
The end of the season.
Okay.
It's called Lifespan of a Fact. It's a comedy based on a true story that deals with the relevance of truth in journalism. Just how important are those facts?
Interesting.
And I will go so far as to also say it's not political. This has nothing to do with one side or the other of politics.
Gotcha.
This is something non-political, but still.
Well, speaking of politics, I have noticed a little peace and quiet when I'm watching the TV for the last 4 or 5 days. You know what I'm talking about? Isn't it amazing that all those commercials just disappeared?
Yeah, since Tuesday,
and
yeah.
I'm going,
God.
You know, regardless of who was going to win, I wanted them to win by enough that we didn't have to watch commercials for the next 3 months or
kidding.
2 months, whatever it is. So
well,
anyway.
we have November coming up, so we all have that to look forward to.
Yeah, but at least it won't start tomorrow.
Well,
Yes.
well, the first debate is like Wednesday, I think.
We have a respite.
Yeah.
Okay, so the trivia question again: what is the size of the steel ball they use to test the impact resistance of a Class 3 shingle?
That's what we're looking for.
Now, do you want to explain a little bit more why they used the steel ball and how they used the steel ball?
Well, the UL 2218 certification, the test.
This is Underwriters Laboratory.
Underwriter Laboratory test. That's the standard for the impact resistance of an asphalt shingle. And basically that test is to drop a steel ball of some diameter through a cylinder 20 feet onto the mat of the shingle.
Okay.
And to drop it twice in exactly the same location.
Okay.
Okay. And the resultant damage to or lack thereof is going to determine whether a pass-fail situation for rating that particular shingle as impact resistant based on the diameter of the steel ball that was dropped.
And that diameter that's the number we're looking for on the size of the steel ball used to test the impact resistance of a Class 3 shingle.
Okay, so if Class 4 is that standard that we're looking for most times with the insurance companies to make sure that we get our clients their discount on their homeowners insurance or whatever, Class 4 is going to be a larger diameter ball than Class 3, and that's all I'm going to tell you. So.
Well, let me ask you this. I wasn't even aware that there was such a thing as a Class 3 impact resistant.
Yes.
Because I've only ever heard you talk about Class 4.
Well, we talk about Class 4 again because that's what the kind of the leading edge of the technology, and then since then we've started talking about all kinds of things like the modified SBS shingles, the modified asphalt polymers. We've talked about the severe hail rated shingles and things that are being designed specifically for our part of the country and different things like that that will actually perform better than what we had for years and years. Remember, my default shingle in Oklahoma from the time I came here was landmark impact resistant.
Yes.
Certainty landmark impact resistant. Okay. Well, that was that old scrim technology, was asphalt on a fiberglass scrim, with the concept being that the energy was dispersed through that fiberglass instead of being that point impact on that shingle. Okay.
Got it, yes.
Then we got into the 17, 18, 19, we got into the modified asphalt polymers, where now we're using a different technology, which is a softer, for lack of a better term, rubberized asphalt, that is much more receptive to the impacts of that large hail,
It disperses the impact more evenly?
It absorbs it, and the shingle actually contracts and then expands back up to its original position. So that's kind of the concept with the modified SBS versus the old scrim technology. Well, the standard that we were looking at with the landmark IR was the Class 4 technology. That's basically where we were at in the evolution of impact resistance in the shingle world. Okay. Well, we've moved beyond that, not in terms of now there's not a Class 5 or a Class 6 or something like that, but within the Class 4, we have shingles that certainly perform significantly better than other shingles within the Class 4.
Wow.
Okay. And that's really where we're at. When we started looking at the testing and everything that was going on with the modified SBS and started to understand that shingle platform was actually actually going to outperform our old scrim technology by 25-35% in the cases of severe hail. Then that's when we made the decision, McRoof as a company, we're going to change all of our clients now. We immediately quit installing Landmark IR, okay, and started installing the Northgate and the Climate Flex shingles.
Okay.
Different technology with a superior result, although the result we always achieved with Landmark IR was a fantastic result anyway.
Great.
So we're just getting better on top of better.
And folks, the reason you would want to put one of these impact-resistant roofs on your house is so that you don't have to replace your roof after the run-of-the-mill hailstorm that comes through.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and we'll talk about this some more. We've got a place in the show today where we're going to talk about some comments from an adjuster to a particular insured. I've also heard adjusters when we're in the field. I'm standing there, Scotty's standing there. We're together with an adjuster in the field talking to a client. And I have heard adjusters say that, well, you know, I really wouldn't put that Class 4 impact-resistant shingle on there because, you know, I'd hate to come back out here and tell you that you didn't have enough damage for me to replace your roof when I'm replacing all your neighbors' roofs. Just doesn't really make sense to me. I thought that was the whole point of is that you're not going to need to replace this roof. There's no reason for you to incur a second deductible or an additional out-of-pocket or go through the hassle. I mean, hey, we're great at what we do, but you don't want me at your house just for grins.
I'm here to tell you.
If I don't need to be there, you don't want me there.
I'm here to tell you. Okay, so let's try to get the phones to ring. We have 3 minutes before we go to break.
Okay.
Let's try to get the phones to ring. We're looking for the diameter of the steel ball used in testing a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle.
Did you forget our word of the week?
No, I'm trying to get this out one more time.
I got you.
So if you think you know the answer, 405-478-1520. So I wanted to get that out one more time before we get to the word of the week.
Okay.
Redundancy. What do you mean by that?
Well,
or let me ask it a different way.
Go right ahead.
No.
Okay, redundancy. And folks, I want you to think in terms of, a measure of safety, a fail-safe. Think in terms of all you engineers, put your hats on. You know what this is. So more than is needed, desired, or required. Okay?
This is belt and suspenders.
Do what?
Belt and suspenders.
There you go. So from an engineering standpoint, inclusion of extra components which are not strictly necessary to functioning in case of failure in other components. Okay. So what I was going to say to you is that a properly installed roof system is, by its very definition, redundant. We have multiple layers of protection that we put together in a specific way to accomplish the one purpose of keeping moisture out of your structure. Okay? So a roof system is redundant. We have ice and water products. We have underlayments. We have flashing details. We have all these things that we do, and then we have your asphalt shingle covering in the case of an asphalt shingle roof. Okay, so we build redundancy into that system, and when all the various components and parts that we use are put together in their proper order, methodology, exactly as prescribed by the manufacturer, then we've accomplished redundancy, and we will not have water in that structure. So that's what we're trying to do. Redundancy in a system is more than is required. Okay? We always want to have more than is required.
And as part of that, it really starts with the decking, right?
It does.
Starts with the decking, then your underlayment, And then your ice and water and flashing details, and then the shingles.
That's correct. And back to the point of we always want to have more. It just flashed through my mind that I'm always reminding people that building codes are minimum requirements.
Yes.
Okay? Building codes are minimum requirements.
And with that, we'll take our first break. We'll be back with Act 2 of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC AM 1520, FM 95.3. You can also catch us on the iHeartRadio app. Just search for KOKC. And you can see us on our live stream on YouTube on the McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel. The trivia question: what is the size of diameter of steel ball used in the Class 3 impact resistant shingle test? 405-478-1520.
Talk Radio's new generation, KOKC.
I'm Scott McCollum, and I am McRoof. Don't let that big out-of-pocket expense on your roof claim stand between you and the new roof that you want and need. I'll finance your deductible, non-recoverable depreciation, or your upgrades over 12 to 24 months. No third-party financing, no hassle, in-house financing by McRoof. Call Carly today at 855-766-3405 for details. McRoof.us, where every replacement is a replacement done right.
Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army and was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy was the pilot of a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy. November 11, 1943, Homer and his crew, along with 31 other bombers, flew a mission to destroy a ball bearing plant in occupied France. On the return trip, a mechanical failure caused the plane to drop out of formation, leaving the Yankee Doodle Dandy vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109 shot the plane down near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board. The others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 21 years of service with numerous awards and citations, not to mention the Purple Heart. Homer Stacy. Homer Stacy McCollum. Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to improve or repair your property, call 855-766-3405. Ask for a no-cost roof assessment and home inspection. That's McRoof, 855-766-3405. That's McRoof.
Folks, have you ever heard of a roof repair company that offers a lifetime workmanship warranty on their work? Probably not, because until now, one did not exist. RoofRx, a McRoof company, proudly offers the industry's only true lifetime workmanship warranty on roof repairs we perform on your roof. As dissimilar to the standard tailgate warranties the other guys offer as night is today, RoofRx stands alone. If we don't get it right, we'll be back on my dime. Give Carly a call today at 405-877-7663. Let us figure out that prescription for your ailing roof. We'll get it done right. I guarantee it.
This is the home of Talk Radio's new generation, KOKC.
And McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air for Act 2 of today's show. On this date in 1775, the first continental currency was issued by the U.S. government. Or actually, it wasn't quite the U.S. government yet. It was 1775, but they put $3 million into circulation.
Wow.
Then in 1847, the first donut supposedly created, the ring donut, the first ring donut, created by a 16-year-old American named Hanson Gregory. He worked on a lime trading ship. And for centuries there had been dough balls that had been fried in deep fat, but he was the first one to make a ring donut in 1847.
Wow.
Then in 1961, a British singer named Tony Sheridan recorded in Hamburg My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. His backup band, the Beatles.
That's pretty good.
And for those of you really into music history, the producer of that session was Bert Kaempfert, who went on to become somebody in instrumental elevator type music later on. Okay, so I'm live with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum. This is McRoof Talks Insurance. We still have our trivia question out there. What is the diameter used in the steel ball test to test the impact resistance of a Class 3 shingle?
Yep.
If you think you know the answer, 405-478-1520.
So let's talk a little bit about shingle testing.
Okay.
There are a lot of manufacturers in the world who don't test their shingles.
No kidding.
There are a lot of manufacturers in the world who do their quote-unquote own testing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
Do you think Certainty does their testing that way?
I would bet they farm that out to qualified, certified laboratory.
Yeah, Certainty, quality made certain, satisfaction guaranteed for over 120 years in this country and over 300 years
the
in
world,
Europe. Yeah, they don't do it that way. They pay the price, which it costs a lot of money. They pay the price to have underwriters' laboratories come in and shut down a line and do their testing for them and certify their shingles. Certainty, as you probably remember, 8, 10, 12 years ago, really 2012, so what's that, 12 years ago? Wow, amazing. Shingle manufacturers quit publishing their shingle weights, because what was going on at the time is that shingle manufacturers were trying to address the cost side of their equation by reducing asphalt content. Number one, what did that do? Reduce manufacturing cost. And number two, what did it really do? Reduce transportation costs.
Because the shingles weighed less.
Shingles weighed less. So back in that day and time, Certainty was the only manufacturer who continued to publish their shingle weights, because they had always been in almost any classification heavier than anyone else's shingle. And now, unfortunately, it's gotten to the place where even I have to go hunt and peck to find those weights. It just has, but asphalt content is important. When we talk about a shingle from Certainty, like our Grand Manor, which for decades now has been known as the king of shingles, okay? The reason that Grand Manor is the king of shingles is because of it's a tri-laminate, it's 3 layers, and it has tremendous asphalt content in it, heavy weight, okay?
Yes.
And so when we say weight doesn't matter, weight does matter. When you start talking about the asphalt content between you and everything that Mother Nature can throw at your building, at your home, at your commercial building, whatever, asphalt content is important, okay? It does make a difference, and that's one of the things about this new SBS technology, okay? These shingles are heavy. They're thick. There's a lot of asphalt content to these shingles. I remember back in the day, we used to have, back when we called shingles 30, 40, and 50-year laminates.
Right.
Okay? That was 30, 40, and 50-year was based on the thickness or the asphalt content and therefore the weight of the shingle. The 30 was the thinnest, the 40 was in the middle, and the 50 was the heavyweight. Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you that we are still occasionally bumping up against one of those old 50-year asphalt shingles that has been around for probably 30 or more years and that is still performing against the elements because they were tough shingles and they had a significant asphalt content.
How about that?
So asphalt content is important, weight is important, certifications are important, and I'm going to tell you that you need to look into, if you're looking at different manufacturers and trying to make a decision, why don't you go look and see how they do their testing? And do they actually bring in an independent laboratory to test and certify their products, or do they do it themselves, or do they not do it at all?
Right.
So anyway, so CertainTeed, the reason we're talking about Class 3 shingles this week is because we had a big announcement from CertainTeed, something that I've really pushed for a number of years, and I don't know that anybody ever listened to little old me. I don't think that's what got it over the top, but the Landmark shingle, okay? The Landmark shingle, our standard entry-level architectural shingle, dimensional shingle, had never been certified as Class 2, Class 3, Class 4, okay? So a number of the other manufacturers over the last 3 or 4 years have developed new products and had kind of gone after that piece of the market by saying our shingle is certified Class 3 impact resistant. So CertainTeed has now gone and has rolled out and made the announcement that every CertainTeed Landmark shingle installed from January 1st of 2024 on is a Class 3 impact resistant shingle and subject to any discounts that your insurance company might provide you. So I immediately sent out to my team, we need to go back through and identify every Landmark roof that we installed in 2024. We need to prepare impact resistant certificates for those owners based on the date of invoice of their product as a date of install, and get those to them with an email that explains to them that your shingle is now eligible for Class 3 discounts if your insurer offers one, and here's your certificate. Be sure you get it into the right people's hands. So we're in the process of doing that right now. So that's kind of what brought the whole thing about Class 3 up when I got the letter from CertainTeed. So,
okay. All right. So I want to hear about this adjuster call that you...
Do you really?
Well, this is the wild story that I teased at the beginning of the show, and I want to hear just what the circumstances were.
This is a bum fuzzler to me. You know,
it's I haven't been bum fuzzled in a while,
and I haven't really. I know I've run this through all of, my personal filters. I've run it through, kind of our values as a company and what we owe to, our prospect or our client or whatever. And we had been out, Scotty, Johnny, somebody had been out in the last, couple of weeks and had inspected a roof right next door as a direct referral from one of our clients. We just finished his roof and he referred a few of his neighbors. Went and inspected this roof and determined this roof had, plenty of damage to justify replacement by almost any insurance company on the face of the globe.
You say almost.
Well, I say that tongue in cheek. We're not going any further with that. But anyway, so we had advised the client so the client filed a claim. Okay. She got a call last week from the adjuster. And the adjuster walked her through a scenario where at the end of the day, she called Scotty and said that they had decided that they were just going to pay for their roof out of their pocket, that they had the money to do that.
This is the homeowner.
That it made sense for them to do that and that they were just going to cancel the insurance claim. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, why in the world? Well, the adjuster had explained to her that she had a $13,500 deductible.
That's a pocket full of change.
That's a bunch of money. But she's going to have that whether the insurance company writes a check or not.
Exactly.
Okay? And then the adjuster had explained to her that she also had an actual cash value policy.
Okay.
So in addition to her $13,500 deductible, she's going to be out of pocket the non-recoverable depreciation portion of her roof claim. Okay? So I got to thinking, I need to draw a picture for this lady, to where we can explain this in a way that will make sense to her. So I took her neighbor's roof next door, which was let's just, for lack of better, anything else, let's just say it was a $45,000 roof.
Okay.
Okay.
$45,000 roof.
Her roof is almost identical. $45,000 roof.
Okay.
Okay.
And she's already looking at $13,500. And did
on her neighbor's roof next door, the insurance company took out 10 years on a 30-year shingle, or 1/3 of the value as non-recoverable depreciation. So I applied that non-recoverable depreciation factor to hers, okay? So of everything that is depreciated in that claim, she's going to lose another $10,000.
Right.
Or so.
Yeah.
Okay? So she's going to be out of pocket on an insurance claim, properly paid, about $25,000.
That's what I kind of estimated.
Okay? So you're getting close to it. Well,
on a $45,000 roof.
On a $45,000 roof. Okay? But if you take a $45,000 roof minus the non-recoverable depreciation, minus the $13,500 deductible, the insurance company's still going to write a check for $15,000 or $20,000.
Exactly.
Why would you have paid your insurance premiums and give the insurance company back that money?
Yeah, let them keep $20,000.
Makes no sense to me. Then the other thing is that didn't get into the conversation at all. She has ordinance of law coverage. And she needs a redeck. And ice and water. And ventilation. And a chimney cricket. Which is going to cost the insurance company another $10,000, $12,000, $15,000.
So did this adjuster kind of talk her out of the claim?
She called Scotty and said she was going to cancel the claim and pay for the roof out of pocket. Now, Scotty has taken everything that I drew out and wrote down and the illustration that I created for him, and he's going to go back and sit down with her and say, you really want to give the insurance company $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 that they would have to write you a check for, and you just write that check out of your personal account? This comes from, our values, okay? What the adjuster did to me is not right. That conversation should never have taken place, at least in the way that it did, okay? At least in the way that it did. And that action on the part of, because the adjuster represents the insurance company.
Correct.
Okay? So that action on the part of that insurance company violates the principle of indemnity on which all insurance is based.
In good faith, I would imagine.
It's incredulous to me, but it happens. And, this is why I told Scotty, I said, this is why it is so hard for us, why we can never stop educating. And, sometimes we think we're there and we run into something like this. Reminds me of our good friend, Mr. Bush, who was going to just write a check for his roof because he could.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that was the right thing for him to do, And anyway, it's frustrating.
So in the minute we have left, I want to talk about something a little more uplifting.
Okay.
And that is your upcoming home show at Fair Park.
Oh man, and I didn't print my sheet out, so I can't even tell you what the name of it is. It's
but there'll be a show at the fairgrounds.
A show at the fairgrounds. It's the first weekend of August. We're gonna do do our show live from there on Saturday afternoon at 1:00. And gonna be some new stuff there from McRoof. We're going to roll out the Certainty integrated solar shingle roof.
Oh, I can't wait.
We're going to have it live there for people to see exactly what it looks like on a rooftop. We're going to have the big screen going with the complete install from start to finish, so they can see how that goes. Johnny's going to be there with his kiosk set up to show people how we position, and figure out what the layouts on the shingles are going to be and all that kind of thing, and run through the numbers for folks. So really excited about that.
And with that, we'll take our second and final break on McRoof Talks Insurance. We'll be back in a flash with Act 3 of the show. Our trivia question still hanging out there. What is the diameter of the steel ball used to test a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle? 405-478-1520. We'll be right back.
Talk radio's new generation, KOKC.
I'm Scott McCollum, and I am McRoof. McRoof and Certainteed are the team you need on your roof. Certainteed's impact-resistant lineup is unbeatable. Northgate Climate Flex, Presidential Shake, or the slate look of Belmont IR, or the King of Shingles, Grand Manor. Call Carly today at 855-766-3405 or go to McRoof.us. McRoof.us, where every replacement is a replacement done right.
Honoring America's Warriors is an Oklahoma-based 501c3 nonprofit that is committed to honoring our heroes and healing our warriors. Honoring America's Warriors provides teams of disabled combat veterans in service dress uniform to augment military honors for our brave that have served our country. Honoring America's Warriors also provides outdoor activities to get our returning veterans peer-to-peer with other veterans in a non-medical environment. To learn more or to donate, go to honoringamericaswarriors.org today.
Hey, Rick, we're installing an awful lot of Energy Q right now.
Well, I would imagine so, because it's getting pretty hot.
It is getting hot. I tell you what, I was watching those guys out. They've been on a big roof the last few days and rolling out that foil film on that rooftop, and I'm thinking, oh my God. But they're covered from head to toe. I mean, they've got hoodies on, their faces are covered and everything, because that's just like looking into a mirror. I mean, I can imagine the reflective heat that they're on a roof that's already 150 degrees, and then they've got that coming back at them. But folks, the Energy Q Radiant Barrier, that's from our NASA technology, 5-layer double foil radiant barrier blanket that we can install on top of your roof, because the thermal break is built into the blanket, or we can install it on the bottom of your rafters, or we can install it as a blanket in your attic floor. Now, it's getting pretty hot to be in attics installing radiant barrier right now. I'm going to tell folks that we've got people calling in to get their estimates, to get their quotes. They're calling Carly and getting us out to do the assessment and figure out what they need to do. If you're doing an in-attic install, I'm going to tell you that it will probably be after the end of September before we're going to get into that attic to do that install right now. Only exceptions to that would be if you had a very small attic where we could get in early of the morning and get that thing done before that sun really peaks up and starts heating things up. So give us a call. Call Carly at 405-877-7663 and get the cool solution for your roof.
This is KOKC.
And McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air for Act 3 of today's show. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum. On this date in 1870, U.S. Congress created the Department of Justice. They've been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah, they have.
On this date in 1934, John Dillinger became America's first public enemy #1. And then on this date in 1973, my old friend George Harrison released Living in the Material World. All right, that's our historical trivia for this hour.
Okie dokie.
All right, so the trivia question, do you want to just go ahead and talk about that since... Oh, Our friend Benny is on the line.
Your friend Benny.
Hello,
right.
Benny. Are you going to take a shot at the trivia question? What do you think is the diameter of the steel ball used to test the impact resistance of a Class 3 shingle?
Well, I'm going to take a swing at it and see if I can improve my batting average or if I reduce it.
All right, go ahead.
1 inch.
Oh, no, man.
Well, you're getting closer to that Hall of Fame line at 300 there, Benny.
I think I'm back down to 500 now.
Oh, 500. Okay, so you're still way above Hall of Fame line. Oh man. So how's that new roof doing out there, buddy?
It's doing great. We have one more project to do, and that won't be. I talked with Wanda. She called yesterday. The siding.
You get that little fascia done.
Soffit ventilation.
Right.
Can't do it till the week of July because of the.
Yeah, and I'm going to check that. I'm going to run through that myself and just check everybody's numbers too, and make sure that we get that the way that you and I want it, Benny. So don't fret about that, okay?
Well, I'd like to talk with you off the air.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
I can call your cell number because I went around the house yesterday. I've got the outline that the insurance adjuster put on the claim form. And I made some copies of it, and I'm going to mark where the existing ventilation is and where I think additional ventilation should go.
Okay.
Even if it exceeds the 1-to-1 ratio, it's, as you have stated in our conversation,
right.
It needs to be that or greater on the intake.
That's exactly right. You can't have too much intake.
Airflow.
Yeah.
To get more even airflow draw because of where the existing ventilation soffit vents are.
Got you. Absolutely.
And maybe meet with you Monday afternoon after I do my mobile meals for the church and all, if that's feasible.
Yeah, that could work.
Or wherever.
Yeah, that could work. I think I've got something Monday morning, but Monday afternoon could sure work, okay?
3 to 4 o'clock at your office?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, well, I'll plan on that because I'm also one of our shut-in mobile meals clients. They're a source of transportation moved, and I told them I'd help them with their groceries until they could put something else in them.
You're a good man.
Be taking them to the store to get their resupply.
Okay, Benny, thank you so much.
I'll see you Monday afternoon, Benny.
Great, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Benny. Scott, your name is Scott, right?
Yeah, my name is Scott.
Okay.
So we're going to wait a few minutes, see if we get another call.
Let's go for it now.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so the steel ball diameter that we're looking for on a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle is 1.75
inches.
1.75 inches, so 1 3/4 inches. The Class 4 steel ball test is a 2-inch steel ball. So, 1.75 inches, dropped twice through a cylinder from 20 feet onto the same spot on the shingle mat, and does not damage the shingle. That's a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle. As we just said, like CertainTeed's landmark shingle, now certified. Okay.
All right. So you have mentioned this before. You kind of got into it a little bit a couple weeks ago.
What's that?
Credentials drive warranties, and warranties drive systems, and systems drive quality.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, and that's good. I'm glad you brought that up because, when we talk to people about doing their due diligence and dotting their I's and crossing their T's in finding a roofing contractor. People don't have any credentials will poo-poo credentials, say, oh, it doesn't mean anything. They bought their credential, or it's just a sticker. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Okay. But people who have credentials know what credentials mean. Okay. And for the most part, a professional roofing contractor who has significant credentials, as McRoof does, we're going to protect those to the nth degree. I mean, we don't want to do anything to jeopardize or risk our standing with our manufacturers in terms of those credentials. because here's what I mean by that statement. Credentials drive warranties, okay?
Meaning that a roofer with credentials can offer better warranties.
Exactly. Okay. That's exactly right. You got a warranty out of a box that every Tom, Dick, and Harry, or you going down to Home Depot or Lowe's and buying shingles, you get a standard asphalt shingle warranty. Period. End of conversation.
Right.
Okay? You buy an asphalt shingle roof from McRoof, okay? And we talk to you about the benefits of what we call enhanced warranties, okay? Then these enhanced warranties drive that the system be done in a certain way, okay? So warranties drive systems, systems drive quality, or say it another way based on our conversation today, redundancy.
Yes.
Okay? Because the system is going to be redundant, because the manufacturer has to know that it's going to perform as intended to keep the elements out of your property. Okay? The manufacturers, when you do enhanced warranties, and the reason that they'll only let their most highly credentialed contractors offer the highest level of warranties, okay, is because the manufacturer is on the hook. All right? If I sell you a CertainTeed shingle, a CertainTeed roof with a 5-star Sure Start Plus warranty, then CertainTeed is on the hook for that warranty to the greatest degree possible for a manufacturer, okay? And in our world, CertainTeed is responsible for the performance of their shingle to not have quote-unquote manufacturer's defects, any of the things you hear about, delamination, failure to seal, excessive granular loss, all those kinds of things that happen in shingles. CertainTeed's responsible for that. A multi-billion-dollar company, not little Tom, Dick, and Harry, Scott McCollum, and McRoof.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yes, I have an obligation to CertainTeed to perform on that roof if something happens, but CertainTeed is responsible to the end user. Okay? Just like on our commercial systems, if we do a system and sell you a Versico roof with a systems warranty, whether you wanted a 12, a 15, a 20, 25, whatever you wanted, if we sell you that warranty, at the lower end of those warranties, the spec is not going to be that severe. At the highest ends of those warranties from manufacturers, the specification is going to be more severe. Why? Because the manufacturer is going to own that roof for a significant period of time, and they don't want anything to go wrong with it.
Exactly.
Okay? The other things that happens with warranties is warranties get inspected. Okay? Now, I'm not going to tell you that every 5-star Sure Start Plus CertainTeed asphalt shingle that I install is going to get inspected. But our work, even to this day, with my standing with CertainTeed, our work still gets spot checked by factory representatives of CertainTeed.
And you don't even know when that's happening.
We don't know when that's going to happen. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know where it's going to happen. Okay? The commercial side of things, it's much more structured. The commercial side of things, if you wanted a 25-year no dollar limit warranty on your flat roof, I could install the roof according to the manufacturer's specifications. They're going to come out and inspect it. Then they're going to require twice a year inspections and maintenance, and require that you maintain a log of that maintenance for the entire warranty period. At the end of the warranty period, they'll tack another 10 years of warranty on the backside of it.
Wow.
That's how it works. So credentials drive warranties, warranties drive systems, systems drive redundancy, performance, whatever words you want to put in there. The better systems that are driven out of the enhanced warranties are going to outperform the lesser systems.
And on the other side of that equation, after the storm, I got a phone call this week.
Yeah?
The caller ID said Wilwoka. I somehow don't think Wewoka, Oklahoma. I somehow don't think the guy was from Wewoka, Oklahoma, but they were going to be in my neighborhood this week, and could they come by and take a look at my roof, because we've had these big hailstorms in our neighborhood. Now, I can tell you, we haven't had the big hailstorm in my neighborhood, but
not in a while.
But this guy thought that we had, and we needed to have his people come and take a look at it.
So was this a telemarketer calling on behalf of a roofing company?
Yeah.
Was it a local roofing company?
You didn't get that far. I didn't. Well, he said the name of the company. It wasn't the name I was familiar with.
I got you.
He wasn't from around these parts.
I got you. Well,
but they were going to be in the neighborhood.
Well, part of what the guy had to tell you is absolutely spot on, and that's that after storm season in Oklahoma, commercial, residential, regardless of the age, every roof needs to be inspected. But it needs to be inspected by a qualified roof inspector who's there merely to document, photograph, if there are some issues, be able to accurately determine what the scope of work, write a scope of work if something is needed, and be able to give you recommendations about what you need to do going forward. I think that there's been plenty of activity. Seems like we're getting tons and tons of calls from the west side of the metro.
Right.
Okay. I would say that is the majority probably of our calls and things right now.
And there were some big storms, big hail out there.
There were some big storms, but there's been plenty of activity throughout, really throughout the entire state of Oklahoma, that it is not a bad idea for anyone to have that roof inspected. Again, a roofing salesperson is not necessarily, and probably in most cases, is not a qualified roof inspector. So you need somebody that has some credentials. You need somebody who could actually, if you needed it, could write a report for you, for your insurance company, if you were shopping insurance, or for a real estate agent to put in a marketing packet if you were selling your home, anything like that. They need to be able to sign their name, put a certification or a license number on it, and then you have a qualified inspection.
And so I'm just now thinking that I missed a wonderful opportunity to ask this person on the other end of the line.
What their registration number is.
Well, yeah, exactly. What their registration number was, and is their inspector HAAG-certified?
There you go.
And that would have probably resulted in him hanging up on me instead of the other way around.
I was going to say that would have been a hang up. Yeah, that would have been a hang up. No doubt about that.
So I guess the takeaway from this is, when someone knocks on a door or calls a homeowner and says, we're working your area,
right,
and there's a lot of hail damage, and your neighbors are all getting their roofs replaced.
Sure.
Ask for the CIB number, the registration number.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And then certifications.
And then are they HAAG-certified?
What are the certifications of your inspectors?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that'll probably get them just moving on down the road.
I guarantee you it will. It's funny. We had a few years ago, I came up with this, and I actually printed some. It was a placard that our customers could put in their door when I knew that the storm chasers were coming. And we're gonna
do that again.
We're gonna do this again because when you know the storm chasers are coming, you just put the sub says, "Thanks for stopping by, but McRoof's got me covered."
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So anyway,
all right. I want to once again remind folks that the first weekend in August, McRoof will be at the home show. That will be at the fairgrounds. Yeah. And I'm excited to see these solar shingles.
Yeah, we've got a big booth. We're going to have that integrated solar shingle display for you to see it, feel it, touch it.
All right. The lawyer texted me again. He's very frantic that I have not reminded you that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.US, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Okay, Dad's wisdom.
Everything in life that involves more than one human being is going to be screwed up. And the more human beings involved, the more screwed up it's going to be.
This has been a milestone, episode 20 of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC.
Okay.
My thanks to running man Eric Yandel for pushing the buttons today. Scott McCollum, we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Hey?
Stay hydrated, stay cool, be safe.
KOKC, Oklahoma City.
The Tyler Media Station, entertaining you since 19...